take home a pet from another universe. Welcome to Happy Suffer.
Hell yeah.
Sounds like an undertaking.
Also, the other taglines, as Katie likes to say, is alien slaver, human trafficking, white slavering, and hitman, and disguised as cowboy. So you know this movie rocks.
That's right. Only the best for the kid.
Nice white slavering. I don't even want to know who the fuck is looking up this fucking plot keyword.
Yeah, I think we should maybe put a tracker on them.
Yes.
Because...
this is Katie Sets Fire. Wow, this is a long time ago.
What is it? What?
No, that's who put this keyword on here.
Oh. Wow.
Katie's like, what the fuck? What is happening?
Oh no, they found me again.
Oh shit, I gotta
go into witness protection.
Yo, you know me.
This is episode 319 of Happy Suffer. I'm Florb. I don't know, I assume that was the name of this movie.
Boobob? You mean Boobob?
I don't know. I probably immediately clicked to the trivia instead of the characters and forgot that's what I was doing.
I'm... what the fuck was the name of the other one? Gristle?
Geisel?
Geisel, there we go. That's a name.
I'll be Poing.
Yeah, we're talking about Pet Shop from a year, 1994. Yeah, there we go. Got it.
We're on top of stuff today.
Yep. I literally woke up 10 minutes ago. Yeah, we're talking about Pet Shop, which is a movie I did not know existed until last week, and I'm not sure if I'm better or worse for.
Obviously better.
This movie was insane. Again, another one of those ones where I'm like, I understand this is a kid's movie. This is a fucked up kid's movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't dislike it. I also, watching it for the first time as like a 42-year-old, I was like, this is weird.
Sure.
As a kid, I was like, damn, is this what witness protection's really like?
Right?
Yeah, their witness protection guy seems not great at his job.
No, not at all.
Especially at the end when he's like, it's fine. I'm like, okay.
Well, you two had seen this before. Like, what is your history with this movie? I guess Kit, since you picked it.
It was a Blockbuster one when I was a kid, and it was one that my parents would actually allow me to rent because it was a kid's movie. And I don't know, I thought it was very funny as a child, and all of the weirdo alien animatronic pets are fucking adorable. So I rented it a whole lot.
Yeah, the animals in it are pretty cute, especially I really like the one that kind of looks like a brontosaurus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I forget which one he turns into, but especially when he gets the egg to the face, he's just like, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, that's Poing.
Yeah.
This one in, is it Prehysteria, where it's the kids get the tiny dinosaurs?
Yep.
Both bangers.
I haven't seen that either, because I remember we've talked about that numerous times on the podcast. Because I feel like it's
well deserved.
I think somebody asked us in a Q&A what our favorite full moon movies were, and I remember you two talking about those.
I don't know if this was a movie that I rented or if it was just on TV, because I'm pretty sure at some point it was on something that was like a Joe Bob kind of thing. And so I either saw it on TV or I rented it, but I was obsessed with these weird pet, I feel like a lot of kids are obsessed with pets, right? But Littlest Pet Shop and shit like that, I was obsessed with animals, obviously dinosaurs. So any of the movies that had the little animatronic weird little guys, like Prehysteria, and then also like Dragon World or like anything like that, I was obsessed with. And I wanted these little pets so bad. So this was just, to be very truthful, didn't even know it was a full moon movie until somebody asked that question, and I was Googling full moon stuff, and I was like,
what the fuck?
Comparatively, it like, to what I know full moon to be, it like blew my mind, because this is like, obviously some fucked up shit happens, but this is a kids movie. This is, by the way, very much a kids movie. It's PG. It is like zany, quirky music.
Oh my god, the music's insane.
The little pets are like goof about.
It's definitely
zany. It's like, you know what I mean? It's a kids movie.
It's definitely way more of a kids movie than like a No Name Norm was.
Yes.
Or like some of the other ones we've done where I'm like, there's a lot like like there's adult content in this, in as much as like the plot is kicked off by like this family having to go to like witness protection for like turning in a mobster and shit.
Right.
But like it is way, there's no cursing. The kids are not in any. They're in like, are you afraid of the dark levels of danger?
Yeah.
Like, they're not like gonna be murdered. They're just gonna go like they're gonna be pets for aliens essentially, which is like dangerous, but not like there's not like people pointing guns at them like it's fucking Cloak and Dagger or some shit.
Right. So, I don't know, I just remember growing up loving this movie. I watched it again, like, maybe a couple of years ago, and I was like, oh yeah, still holds up. Sure, if you're like a full-grown adult and you've never seen it before, probably. But here's my marker for that, though. I also recently, like, around the same time that I watched this, rewatched Prehysteria, which I felt did not hold up as an adult. And because I say that because I feel like I have the same amount of nostalgia for them, except for like that one's dinosaurs, this one's like aliens. You know what I mean? Maybe I remember finding the children like almost not, like I couldn't stand them, whereas like this, the one girl Alexis is like a little much, but everyone else is like kind of normal-ish. So, I don't know. I felt like this held up better for me. But it's definitely very much a kid's movie. And as far as, like, the tone of it, like we said, aside from, like, the mob stuff, which is a choice.
Also, like, that feels like very much. Like, I would say nothing in this movie is necessarily original. But, like, I think they do it pretty well. Like, I think the family, like, that are supposed to be from, like, the Bronx are pretty funny. The mom and dad are funny. Like,
yeah.
They're especially in Arizona.
All of their accents are, like, so over the top. Like, they're all just like, well, we'll just do, like, Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah.
Shout out Terry Kaiser, our third Terry Kaiser movie.
Yeah, fucking Weekend at Bernie's. Got to cover that soon.
He is so funny in this, and at one point, like,
Bernie would be a weird little guy, right?
I don't know. That might be pushing it, but
we can do a weird big guy month.
Yeah. Weird big, yeah. Weird big. They don't have to be alive, technically, or no, or yes. I left out there's a lot of stuff in this movie, filler, kind of just with like the parents being like eccentric essentially, and I left out like a lot of it just because it's like the parents just being like, obviously this family is like dysfunctional but loves each other kind of like situation. Throughout the entire movie, the mom is like decorating the house in insane ways, and I love it. I love the house so
my
much.
God, when they showed at the end, it's just like got this
little did you know this is a 9/11 movie,
huge like painting of the New York skyline or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, this ought to help people not realize you're from New York City and keep you in hiding.
Literally. But she has like a full like horse statue in the yard, and they paint the house like bright red out. It is really insane. But
the painting scene's insane. They just got like patches on the house.
I love it. There's a scene where like the dad is like sitting on the couch and there's a portrait of the family behind them, and his face in the portrait is like
Also
the
insane.
funniest thing I've ever seen. It's just like a full-on grimace, and I'm like, that painting existed. Like, where is it? I must have it. It's so funny.
That's what sucks,
But
is
yeah.
you know that shit got like destroyed immediately, because I feel like Full Moon probably at that point wasn't like keeping anything that wasn't a puppet.
Yeah, they like repainted it for something else or whatever. But yeah, I think the thing for me that I really liked about this, that obviously we lose going forward to like newer kids movies, really is the puppets. So like there's a thing in this movie where like we're gonna obviously get into it, but all of the animals are actually aliens, but they have this like ability to turn into a disguise, which is like a real animal. So it's like a real bunny, a real turtle, whatever. And then when they transform into their alien self, they're puppets, and the puppets are amazing looking.
Yeah, they do. Like, they're pretty good. Like, they're clearly not like Jim Henson puppets, where like they can only emote so much.
Right.
But they're pretty cute.
Yeah, I love them.
The weird blue guy that's like turns into the turtle is crazy looking. Once they start getting into hijinks in the house, I was fully on board.
Yeah.
But it just took it. I think like
It took like an hour for that to happen.
The second half of this movie I really liked. It was all of the setup that I was just like, all right, come on.
Yeah.
Which like I get
sure.
it,
and
you know, they're introducing all of these kids for like the supposedly supposed to be children watching this movie instead of weird adults.
yeah, except
they could not have foreseen.
Except as a kid, I was like, all right, get to the pets.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, give me the weird little guys.
Yeah, the weird little guys. So
I would be curious if it was one of those scenarios where just like they malfunctioned a lot, so they just used like sort of less footage than they probably planned on.
Could be.
For some reason, I feel like Full Moon with like electronic puppets probably does not go well.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to see some like behind the scenes stuff on the puppets if that was like available, but
yeah, there was like no, at least on IMDb, like usually I feel like stuff like this, usually especially like older movies, have like a good amount of trivia. There was only like 2 things for this. I'm more
threw all the trivia away with the painting.
Yeah.
I'm just like more curious now. I'm like I'm looking at a list of like Full Moon movies, and they have so many like tween age sort of like movies that I had no idea about.
Yeah, well, that's why, like I said, I was shocked to realize that this was like a Full Moon movie, because it's not what I'm.
What is their Jack and the Beanstalk movie like?
Oh my gosh.
Uncomfortable.
Leaping leprechauns.
Yeah, I don't like the cover for that.
I'm in. I'm watching all of these.
Also, whatever this magic in the mirror, like, duck thing.
When did A Night in the Museum come out?
2005? 2005 to 2007, something like that.
1999. There's a movie called "Search for the Jewel of Polaris: Mysterious Museum." That is the poster just says "Night at the Magic Museum." So I think somebody ripped off Full Moon. Shapeshifter, I can only assume it's an Animorphs ripoff, so I'm absolutely watching this. The poster is literally a kid turning into like an eagle.
I love
Sick.
It looks like they had like a very weird sort of like almost Asylum level of like ripping shit off at one point.
Yeah.
What a fucking good studio. Hell yeah. I'm gonna fucking make it my goal to watch every Full Moon movie in order now.
Oh wow.
What a nightmare that's gonna be.
Godspeed to you.
Alright, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely enjoyed this, but I also was just kind of like, this is a baffling movie. As like
as a grown man.
Like I've been having,
as someone like 36 years out of the age range for it.
When I think the week this episode comes out, Katie and I are dropping an episode on like Goosebumps episodes. And so I listened to the audiobooks, and I was like, man, what a week for me visiting children's shit as an adult and being like, this is a bummer.
Yeah, spoiler alert, but I've been watching through all of Goosebumps, and it has not been as easy breezy as I thought it was going to be. So, this, however, I was excited to revisit it, and because I also felt like, do you know how when you're, like, younger, and you're, like, hyper fixated on something, and you just assume that everyone else also loves and knows, like, what the thing that you're in love with is, and then come to find out that, like, people don't really know what this is, and so I think you should go watch it with your kids. If weird little guys.
Introduce your kids to fucking weird movies.
Yeah.
I definitely would I'd recommend this for people to watch it. Even if it's just for like the last 40 minutes into seeing like the weird creatures.
Yeah, they're incredible. Really cool design. You can't even just like the shitty cover, you just can't even imagine what they look like.
Yeah.
For real.
Like I feel like the one on the poster that they did a pretty good job of like portraying is I think I don't remember any of their names. The one I think that turns into the rabbit, the weird little orange guy.
Yeah, that's Flubbo. He kind of looks like
Duh.
Come on, Nathan.
I'm still like upset that somebody's last name in this is Vrooman.
Vrooman, yeah.
How's your last name got Vroom in it?
Vacuum salesman.
Yeah,
that's what your ancestors were.
His parents were door-to-door salesmen in the past lives. Cody Burger. These Sabrina Wiener and Cody Burger are not real names.
It's funny because Spencer Brooman is like also in Casper, and he's like,
he's kind of in a JTT movie, Man of the House, with old Chevy Chase saying the N-word probably.
I don't remember, but that was also one of my favorite movies
that's
growing up. It is definitely really insensitive, and in a way that they are doing like a.
You mean the fact that the poster and the only image on Letterboxd has them wearing like feathers on their head?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
no.
Please just go. Yeah. So like the whole thing is
don't show your kids that one.
Chevy Chase is like trying to be his stepdad or whatever, and so the mom makes them do this like son-father camp out group situation, and it's all like I don't even know what name they call it, but it's like very inappropriate nowadays. So yeah. But I loved it as a kid. I will say that.
That's just because your boy JTT's in it.
Yeah, probably.
What a fucking weird time that was.
Yeah. Everybody should have had weird alien pets in their movies, to be honest.
Yeah, they still should. There should be one weird alien, like, in every movie.
Every one of your... Yeah, I do agree with that.
Alright, we can talk about how every shop in this movie is just blank shop. TV shop and food shop and all of them.
It's a very small town.
I was like, I want to live in this city where everything is so very extremely self-explanatory as to what it is.
Sorry. I just got a shiny.
Quit playing Pokemon.
But this is like really funny because it was this one Pokemon. Like, Chris and I never get the same shinies, right? And it's kind of like a competition. And so he was like, I had a dream earlier today. He was like, I had a dream that you got a shiny. And he just sent me a picture of a shiny he got. And I was like, what if I just log in really quick and check? What if it's a shiny? It's the same shiny. And it fucking is. We've never gotten the same shiny ever.
You guys are fucking weird.
I can't even...
Quit saying the word shiny to me.
No, I should. I just can't even believe that just
I'm
happened.
gonna go
Live on the air.
I'm gonna call a fucking
Live.
exterminator because you shouldn't have Pokemon running around your house.
It's listen.
Definitely shouldn't be shiny.
It's our weird little guys. Okay, they're welcome here. I can't even believe it. Okay. The odds are literally astronomical. You don't even understand. Okay.
I bet I do. I was a collector of stuff. I used to buy
fair.
I used to buy Marvel cards for fucking trying to find whatever weird rare ones were.
Did they also have shinies?
I mean, they technically
Follow.
had like foil cards and shit
Yeah.
like that. I think they had hologram ones too.
Yeah. I love it. Nostalgia's great. Okay.
You heard it here first,
pet-
folks.
Breaking news. Okay, so this movie starts with like happy adventurous music as a child is riding his bike in the desert. And he lives in a town called Cactus Flats, which is he's literally like riding his bike from his subdivision like on a back desert road into town, which, as Nathan said, it's like one strip of shops. I'm was really surprised actually to even see that there was a pet shop, but you know, it was the 90s. This is where we're introduced to Mike, who you would think is the main character, but he's not really. He asks this old guy if he had ordered his turtle yet, and the old guy is just like, no, I forgot. Like, damn, okay. Then they see a shooting star, and Mike makes a wish that he would get a turtle, and the old man was like, I wish I could retire. There you go.
Man, what a waste of a wish from that kid. Wish for like infinite turtles.
No,
Yeah.
I just want one
Ninja
turtle.
Turtles.
Yeah. Whoa. It'd be awesome if this movie just turned into a Ninja Turtles movie, but it was just literally just that turtle doing
Yeah.
ninja moves.
Doing flips and shit.
I love it. Yeah, it's a pretty boring wish, though. Although then you come to find out that the only reason he wants a turtle is because his sister is afraid of turtles, and he wants to use the turtle to scare her.
Smart.
So he's not so innocent after all. Don't trust anyone named Mike, to be honest with you.
What about Prison
Okay.
Mike?
Prison Mike's fine because his name's Prison.
Or Date Mike?
Mike, comma, prison, date, comma. Yeah, it's fine. He's got a different name in front of it, so it automatically evens out. It like cancels out, you know?
Yeah, checks out.
Okay, so that night at the pet shop, a blob envelops the store, and two people wearing cowboy attire /
Strange.
accents.
Incredible.
I love it so much because like we do find out it's Arizona, but they are like pretty out of place. They're wearing like cowboy, like what are they called? 10-gallon hats.
Yeah.
It's like a cowboy hat, and then they're wearing like show quote unquote cowboy outfits, like as if you were going to
Yeah,
a
what are
rodeo.
those button-up shirts called? Like the pearl snaps that are all super fancy.
Cowboy shirts.
Yeah.
Yes. They do definitely have a name, I'm pretty sure, but I don't know. They're wearing bolos, they're wearing 10-gallon hats, they're wearing cowboy boots, they're wearing the works, right? And they're also having accents, which are really great accents. And they essentially offer to buy the pet shop from the old man, so his wish is granted that he gets to retire. So he takes the money, right? Then we get the title and the credits over what Full Moon tells us is playful music. It's pretty playful. It's whimsical, if you will. Then we see a family that is moving across country with a U-Haul, and they are doing something that I have not heard in a crow's age, if you will, which they are singing. What is that song even called?
Oh, I do not remember at all what song it was.
Yeah, same. row your boat.
It's something like that. It is.
I'll say it has to be something fucking public domain.
Shit, I just It just left my mind. I should have wrote it down. That one that's like home on the range,
Oh.
where the deer and the antelope, which is like very strange because it's not really as.
Well, they are going
Whatever.
to Arizona.
True. I wrote they appear to be from Jersey. We find out it's Brooklyn, but
honestly, I feel like a lot of the time
I feel like,
that like they
yeah.
do this shit in movies and you like the accents kind of fucking are so bad that you can tell.
It's the same sentiment, yeah.
For everyone
And-
not from there, it's like, oh, that's a generic like New York.
Oh, they're doing the Sopranos.
Yeah.
I was literally gonna say like a mobster type thing, Sopranos. Yeah, exactly. And this is where we meet Dina, who is actually the main character, and her family is moving, and essentially they're basically just talking about how shitty the town is as they drive through. And I wrote fair. It's Arizona. This is where we also find out that they're in witness protection, which I don't remember being part of the movie, but I find very funny because I feel like witness protection plot was like really prevalent
It was
during
such
this time.
a thing in the 90s that
which
it just
like
not
it
anymore.
like it could happen. Yeah, like it could happen to you at any moment. Like quicksand, witness protection program, like those were just really common everyday things that could happen to you. So, sure. At the new pet shop, we're finally introduced to like the two cowboy people, Mr. and Mrs. Zim, and she is practicing human speak, which are words like hornswoggle, necktie party, deputize, and howdy.
Hornswoggle gets used
Right.
a lot.
Yeah.
In my day-to-day life.
The book actually said like American slang or something like that, and I was like, who's using the word deputize in everyday conversation? Hornswoggle, sure. Deputize?
I deputize so many people.
It's a weird
every day.
Weird
Right, that's
fucking quote-unquote patriots that all think they're gonna get deputized to go beat up people.
Well, she says a bunch of other stuff that I don't know. She also gets pooped on, and this is where we meet our very first adorable pet named Pwing, who is kind of looks like a mix between like a big lizard and a cricket.
Yeah,
and like
super weird.
Yeah, pretty big. And this is when we're introduced to the idea that they can transform from like alien pets to like real looking pets. So Pwing looks like just like a regular lizard, like a green lizard. The dog, whose name is Geisel, is like pretty much still looks like a dog.
Half dog, half like bunny for some reason.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But like also only has two back legs and no front legs that I can recall, and also like purple strands of hair mixed in and purple eyes. Then we meet Flubbo, who is a bunny, and then in alien form looks kind of like a bunny owl. It's got like a beak, but also still bunny ears kind of. And then we meet Trimblequai, who they call Trimble, who is a turtle, who transforms into basically just a dinosaur version of a turtle, but its horn can like do powers or something. I don't know.
Sure.
That's the gang. Trimble, Flubbo, Geisel, and Pwing. Literally.
Whatever blunt rotation. I can't think of the fucking term.
Yeah, dream
blunt rotation. Yeah.
There you go. I love them so much. I think growing up, my favorite was Geisel, but I think as an adult, Pwing is my favorite. She's just a little sweetie. I love her. Okay. Dina is outside, doing whatever at her new house. Mike rides up on his bike and is like, hey, I just came over to introduce myself or whatever. Dina, who is her witness protection name, immediately tells him that her name is Vicky. And their, like, FBI marshal, whatever, guardian guy comes over and is like, oh, no, her name's Dina. Also, I'm her uncle. Run along now.
This dude's not great at his job, I gotta say.
No.
Very bad.
He's like one step away from, hey, they're from New York. Get out of here.
Yeah, get lost. And the credits don't say her last name, but it's like Vicky Vincenza or something insane. It's insanely Italian like that. At dinner, the FBI marshal guy goes over basically the rules of witness protection, which is that like you can't call anybody that you from your like your extended family or anybody that you used to know. Don't go outside of the town. Like just stay in the house essentially and like be safe or whatever. And they're basically talking about like the reason that they're in witness protection. So then it switches over to prison where we meet the guy that basically they put in prison, and he is talking to his goons, Curly and the Babe, and they're basically like
good names.
Yeah, using and I don't know, like, were those guys twins? Because if not, they looked really...
Yeah, they looked very similar.
They looked really similar. Let's see.
Kit, are you buying this Lynch Dune Sandworm action figure?
If I can find $400, absolutely.
All right, everybody,
I got bad news for you about what this probably is.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It gets to sit on a shelf.
Curly's
I thought you were going to say gets the job done. I was like, yeah, it looks like it.
Goodbye. Curly's real name is Leonardo Vincent Serto, so definitely really authentic. So they're brothers. They were brothers. Okay. But they're using all of these like innuendos about there being a rat and having to like clean the house before this guy gets out of prison or whatever. And the prison, there's like this one part where the mob boss guy like looks back at the guard, and the guard is just like standing there like no thoughts but behind those eyes, and I thought it was really funny. Then he's like, okay, you have to go figure out where these guys are and kill them because I don't want any rats in my house when I get out. A capiche? And the parentheses said speak in foreign language, and I was like,
I feel like there were a couple times the subtitles did something like that, and I was like, come on.
Amazing.
Like the fucking like most over the top Italian mobster thing, and they're just like, we have no idea. Foreign language.
Yeah. Okay. This is when we see that Dina used to have a dog, and so all she wants... She basically... There's, like, a lot of scenes basically surrounding, like, her having a hard time, essentially, right? I don't know why, but I also noted that she went to sleep and she was still wearing her baseball hat.
Yeah.
Sure.
She's like Gino from 90 Day Fiancé.
Sure.
For all my 90 Day heads
absolutely.
out there.
I think us watching this and her wearing that Mets hat gave the Mets the power to win their baseball game today.
That's fair.
Is that good or bad?
I mean, I don't give a shit about the Mets.
I feel like
but it was a wild fucking baseball game. So
my extent of knowledge about that kind of thing is like the 90s when like the Mets or like the Knicks were like a fucking joke. So I have no idea if either of those teams are good at this point.
It is. They have to play a doubleheader today to determine who makes it to the playoffs.
Oh.
So,
God, doubleheaders were a fucking nightmare when I was in like playing baseball as a kid.
Right?
Seems so fucking exhausting now.
Yeah. Okay. So at the pet shop the next day, it's the grand opening, and there's a ton of people there. It's like a fucking circus. Mike is there with his friend, Nikki. So Nikki is one of the kids, and Mike sees a turtle and is like, oh man, I really want a turtle scare my sister or whatever. We also see that Geisel has escaped and is walking around as an alien dog. Mike sees him, but Mr. Zim is able to like grab him or whatever, and they talk to Mike, blah, blah, blah. We're also introduced to Alexis, who is a fashionista, and she's wearing a really insane outfit.
Made
but
herself,
essentially,
obviously.
Huh?
I said made herself.
Oh yeah.
We stand an entrepreneur.
It's like a underwater theme situation, and we're essentially just like meeting the whole group here. So then they meet Dina outside, and Alexis is like, not to say this about a child, but she's kind of a bitch to Dina, and they kind of like they're like getting cut downs to about each other's like looks or whatever. And Mike is like, they're like, oh, are you gonna go in the pet shop? And she's like, nah, pets are for kids. I'm like, okay, You're like 10,
Sure.
so maybe chill out a little bit. So she waits till the rest of the group leaves, and then she goes inside herself to look around. Back at Dina's house, the only reason I noted this, like I said, there's a lot of stuff between like the mom and the dad going on behind the scenes. The mom serves a really vile looking breakfast that is like bacon and eggs in a pan with like literally like 2 gallons of grease also in the pan that she just like dumps on the guy's plate.
Yeah,
and it
it's
was
the
really
good
gross.
shit. Just a bowl of grease.
Delicious. The mom realizes that Dina's gone and freaks out. And so the brother goes and ends up finding her. And then on the way back in the car, they kind of have like a heart to heart about how moving fucking sucks. Okay, back at the pet shop, Mr. and Mrs. Zim are feeding the animals their quote-unquote special vitamins, and Nikki knocks on the back door. They end up giving him Flubbo, which is the bunny, and he's like, I don't really want a rabbit, though. Like, this rabbits are kind of lame, and they're just like, no, this is the best pet ever. Here, take this pet. And he was like, okay.
Hey, take this, like, very difficult to take care of pet. Little
Yeah,
kid.
here you go, child.
Don't give your kids rabbits. They are a lot.
Yeah, they're so cute, but I couldn't even imagine. I can't imagine. Yeah. Meanwhile, there's like also these other behind the scenes like cut tos of Curly and the babe like on their road trip on the way to this town to like kill this family. They're driving so slow.
Just having a nice little road trip.
Yeah.
Some family time.
Just really getting some one-on-one time. Dina is like really depressed because she wants to get a dog, but her parents told her no, and the brother's just like, hey, catch this. They told me you can't have a dog, but they never said I couldn't have one. She's like, you're the best. So she goes to the pet store to like buy her brother a dog. I was like, okay. When she gets to the pet store, she sees Alexis looking real sus, and she like runs and ignores her, and she's like, okay, that's kind of weird. And the sign says that they're closed, and so Dina's like, oh man. So she goes behind the pet store and starts like throwing her ball around. Meanwhile, I don't know if they were just like trying to build up to a reveal as to what was actually going on here, but I don't feel like this scene is like very obvious, because I didn't actually really understand what they were talking about until later, and I don't know if that was on purpose or not, because again, this is like a kids movie. But the Zims are like going through their security camera footage and zooming in on children, and then getting like trying to like get reads on them or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I watched this for the first time. I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't really know if that was on purpose or not, but they're basically like getting readouts, and they see the surveillance footage of Dina from in the store, and the readout comes with like a bunch of like numbers on it, and they're like, oh yeah, great, woohoo, woohoo, and they're all like excited. Then they realize that she's outside the pet store. What a coincidence. And so they let Geisel out back for her to find. The guy pretends like he's not for sale or whatever, and then they're like, okay, yeah, I'll give him to you for a discount because he seems like great or whatever. Great for you. So she brings him home, and the parents are like pissed off at first, but then once the dad is like basically impressed that the kids like schemed them. This is the scene where you can see the family portrait
horrific
in the back.
family painting.
I need to own it. It is amazing. His face is just like, because like when you think about it, it's a painting, right? So in order for somebody to like actually paint your family portrait, you guys have to like pose for it, and the fact that he's just like scrunching up his face like that the whole time, it's very great.
To be fair, at this point in time, they probably could have just taken a picture and had somebody paint it from the picture.
Maybe.
Who's to say?
Yeah.
Maybe it was both.
Okay. Dina is like playing fetch up back with Geisel, and so like the whole point of the pets, the alien pets, is that they're supposed to stay on their regular pet form. So Geisel just looks like a black and white little puppy, like a sheepdog kind of thing, and she's like in the earlier part of the movie, the alien Zims are like training them to, when they hear a knock on the door, transform into regular animals. And almost after the kids get the pets, they almost all immediately change. And I was like, they were not trained very well.
Yeah, they're not doing a
No, they
great
do
job.
such a bad job.
So Geisel gets excited playing baseball, immediately transforms into his alien form, and Dina is like actually really thrilled, which I think I would be too. He's cute. Then we basically just see other, like, Mike is at home playing chess on his computer, and Trimble, he uses Trimble to scare his sister, and then that causes Trimble to transform and be really smart and be able to play chess on a computer. And again, he just basically looks like a prehistoric turtle. I guess they were just like, I don't know.
Yeah, they're like, just give him a big fucking
He'll just-
glowing rock on his head.
Yeah, he'll be just a turtle, a regular turtle. Nikki is taking a bath and rapping.
Oh yeah.
Flubbo is just like jumping around in the bathroom or whatever, and transforms into his owl bunny, whatever. Alexis is making clothes for Pwing, who transforms and like pops the clothes off or whatever. And again, Alexis is like so excited. Pwing is very cute and sweet. So, after this, Mike comes over to Dina's and is like, "Hey, I know your secret. You should just tell me, because if we're supposed to be friends, then you should tell me the truth." Which, first of all, this is like the third time you've talked ever, but okay. Dina
Remember the last time
immediately-
we like ran into each other and your friends made fun of me?
Like, literally, yeah. And Dina immediately is like, okay, I'm actually in the witness protection program because my dad ratted on a mobster. And Mike was like, really? That's cool. But I was talking about your dog. And she's like, huh? And he's basically just like, yeah, we all got weird pets. And so, like, I don't know, I just wanted to, like, talk about it. And she's like, okay, well, why don't we all, like, meet at your house tomorrow with the pets, and we'll, like, figure out what is going on here. And he's like, okay. This is when Geisel pops out. Gizzle? Geisel pops out, and they're like, wee hee hee hee. You know, they're just having a good time.
Yeah, they love being in their regular form.
Yeah, they do. They just do not give a shit at all. So they're gonna meet at Mike's house the next day. Mike is like, just have your brother drive you over to my house, and I will introduce him to my sister. Tell him to, like, bring his swimsuit or whatever. And so that's what they do. That night, since the Zims have gotten the alien pets adopted, they just release all the other pets in the pet store out into the wild Arizona desert.
Perfect.
Which is
Good job.
really rude.
So all those pets are dead.
Like, essentially, yeah. Then there's kind of like a throwaway line about how the pets will need their vitamins, so they'll be coming back to the store soon. And also they talk about how they're going to be rich. And so again, at this point, you're like, what is even happening? I don't know. So the next day, they get to Mike's house, and her sister is... This is weird, okay? Basically, Mike is like, okay, my sister's back by the pool. She's, like, waiting for you. Come on, Dina, let's go up to my room. And Dina's brother is like, keep your hands off my sister. And then Mike is like, I'll keep my hands off your sister if you put your hands on mine. That's fucking gross. What is happening here? Why are you why are you trying to get your sister hook up with this guy?
Yeah.
It's, like, so weird. Then, like, then there's, like, all this, like, weird shit. I don't understand the joke about the sister. Because, like, he had shown a picture of her, and Mike is, like, the brother's, like, all into her, and then when he shows up, she's, like, really interested in him, and he's like, oh, man! He's, like, trying to get away from her for the rest of the movie, and, like, I don't understand the joke.
I don't think the writers did either.
Okay.
To be fair.
I'm like, am I missing something? Whatever. I will say Charlie's outfit, really great. Charlie is the brother. He's wearing, like, purple and blue striped like swim trunks over like a mesh purple like football jersey, and then also a shirt over top of it that's blue and purple striped. It's like literally so 90s. I couldn't even stand
Powerful.
it. Yeah, really. Okay, so upstairs the pets are just kind of having a goof about and playing. And Alexis is like, "Oh, look what Pwing can do," and Pwing start. This was
Look
so
what Pwing can do.
This was so upsetting to me as a child, and now. So she's like, "Look what Pwing can do." So Pwing starts walking up the wall, and you can hear his little foot cuppies going like as he's like walking. And then he gets like halfway up, and then he just like fucking falls and plummets into a fish tank. And I was like, oh my god! And she takes her sweet ass time getting Pwing out of that tank too. So this was when she's like, oh no, Pwing's never acted like this. Like, they seem sick. Then she says, look at Pwing, she looks anorexic. And I was like, what are you talking about? Why is that the word you're using? I was taken aback by that. I was like, you don't hear that word, especially in like kids stuff.
Very from a child.
Yeah, very weird. Very weird writing on that one. So I'm gonna say that this movie is not without some things that I think could be kind of problematic, but what you expect from
Full Moon
and maybe
or
other kids stuff that we've watched
90s.
at the time, it's very safe. That word choice was like very strange to me, so I don't know, maybe be prepared to talk about that if very weird. Then so they're like, oh, maybe they're hungry, let's like make them some food. So there's like this weird sped up like zany music montage of the kids trying to like make food for the pets. And my question is, why does Mike's family have so many chef hats? That was weird. They're all wearing like Chef Boyardee like chef hats.
It's called fashion.
I guess so. We lost it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So the kids present the food to the pets. Food looks pretty good. It's
Fucking-
just like some hot dog, a huge sandwich.
The
A plate
montage
of
of them
meat.
cooking is incredible.
And so the pets eat the food, and they're better for a little bit. They are, back up to their antics where they're like throwing. This is the egg scene, where the one like, it might be Flubbo, throws an egg at Pwing, and but then after a little while, their little like spurt of energy dies, and they get sick again. And so Dina, for some reason, just has the contract that she signed with the pet store that basically says if the pets get sick, they can bring them in and get them taken care of or whatever. So meanwhile, while this is happening, this was kind of like during the scene where the kids they're like leaving to go to Mike's, and this is a scene we were talking about earlier where Dina's parents are painting the outside of their house like bright red, and Dina's mom is doing like a mural and singing an insane song. And the dad is basically just like, I can't deal with this. So he goes into town to a like what essentially is supposed to be like representative of a bar. It's just like a diner where he gets an RC cola.
Hell yeah.
Delish. And
they're making that shit from scratch too.
I know, I love it. And he's basically just like, oh man, my family's having a hard time blending in here.
Hey, I don't know if you know this, but we're in witness protection.
He's basically just like, everything in this town is so beige, and my family is like not like that. He's wearing like Hawaiian shirts, by the way, and everything else in the town is pretty beige. And the bartender is just like, yeah, like it's almost as if this town is like literally created for like the witness protection program or something, because the bartender just like already knows, and he's like, oh, did I say something to make you like, did I say the wrong thing or whatever? It's just like very weird. But anyways, they're just like chatting or whatever. Oh, and the bartender says like very loudly like, who'd you squeal on to get here or something like that, and the dad's like, oh my god, chill. Meanwhile, Curly and the babe have finally reached town after running out of gas and having to push their car the rest of the way.
I wish this movie just followed them more. Someone should just
Yeah.
do a new movie that just is their story.
I'd watch
Pet
it.
Shop 2, Curly and the Babe.
There we go. So the kids go to the pet shop, bring all the pets, and the Zims give the pets the vitamins that they need, quote unquote, or whatever. And this is when Mr. Zim, and they're kind of just like talking to the kids, and Mr. Zim says that per interstellar laws, they can only take as many pets as they leave behind. And then Mrs. Zim says, 4 critters for 4 humans.
Good math.
Not the right accent, but So essentially what we've learned here is that the Zims came to Earth because they are leaving behind 4 alien pets in exchange for 4 human children that they're going to sell to other people.
That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess technically this is a child slavery ring.
It's a
I
white
think...
slave ring, as IMDb has let us know.
Yeah, fair. White slavery ring. I like that one of the tags is disguised as cowboy. Very good.
I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna see what other movies.
Okay, yeah, I want to know if it's legit because some of them are not. So basically, the kids are like, "Oh no, we don't want to be pets for aliens or whatever." So they try and basically the Zims are like chasing the kids around the fucking pet store, and the pets are like doing zany antics to like help them escape.
All right, number 1, the Addams Family 2 animated movie. Number 2, Fade to Black from 1980.
Okay.
And then Pet Shop, and then 2 episodes of Miami Vice.
Perfect.
That's it.
Yep, sounds right.
I hesitate to say I feel like this should be number 1, but that's okay.
So the thing is with like IMDb on like lists like that, it's not like based on how it's used. It's like a popularity thing, I guess.
Gotcha.
So like
Yeah.
that Addams Family thing is clearly being watched more or rated more on here than the other ones.
Or IMDb wants us to think that it is.
Well, it's why it's always like newer movies at the top. It's never like it'd be like, movies with Batman in it or something, and it'll be like it's always going to be like whatever the newest movie.
Sure.
So like it could be like something that like references Batman or has like it'd be like, like the fucking Treat Yourself episode of fucking Parks and Rec at the top, and you're like, what? Why is Batman not number 1?
Yeah. Oh, I mean it. Yeah,
I'm
sure.
assuming it's under Alien Slaver.
It should be
Just
number 1.
Pet Shop.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, so the kids are running around, the pets are like popping out to help them, like doing goofy antics, like making that lady fall into the turtle pond and
I
whatnot.
think Pet Shop's number 2 for white slavery.
Okay, good. So this is when Mr. Zim decides to get real serious because he takes off his 10-gallon hat to reveal that his head is the size and shape of a 10-gallon hat, except he's got a third eyeball way up at the top.
It looks pretty
And
good.
the eyeball also shoots lasers.
Normal.
What a dream.
I very much forgot about this part of it. And essentially he uses the lasers to shoot the kids, and this is where I'm a little murky as to what the lasers do, because at first it seems like it freezes them so they can't move, but then later they're moving for no reason, and also the effect it has on the dad is not the same, so I'm not sure what actually the lasers are supposed to do, but in this moment it freezes them so they can't move. The kids are also not good at not moving, so maybe that's part of the problem.
Well, I thought the way I just assumed, and I don't know if it was just solely because the kids probably couldn't stay perfectly still, is that basically they're they can obviously move their eyes and shit,
Yeah.
but they're just sort of stuck in place. But then I'm guessing it just wears off by the time they're in the cages.
Yeah.
Also, we're not to it yet, but those cages seem pretty easy to get out of because as they're opening the doors, they are moving up and off the base Seems like they could have just clearly pushed those cages up and gotten out.
Also, I have some questions about what the cage that Nikki was in was used for, because it's like a weird, like, it's shaped as if it's multi-tiered, but it's not.
It's shaped like,
and I was
one of those big-ass bird cages.
Yeah, but I was like, what the fuck is this for? I don't know. So yeah, they're frozen. Meanwhile, Dina's mom has called the little, like, bar that the dad is at, and is basically just like, oh my gosh, Charlie turned his back for 1 minute and all the kids are gone and the kitchen is ramsacked, and he said it looked like a professional job. And I was like, what? A professional ransacking? Is that what I'm hearing here? And so luckily the bartender is like, oh, I saw a bunch of kids go into the pet shop. That's probably them. So yeah, perfect timing. Shoot back into the pet shop. The kids are in the cages of varying sizes and are weird.
They're for different pets.
Sure. Mrs. Zim has this, like, little crystal that she puts in a hole in the floor that basically creates, like, a blob beam. And they're basically like, okay, Dina is worth the most money, so we're going to go ahead and ship her up or whatever. But just then, Dina's dad shows up to the pet shop and is, like, knocking on the window. Mrs. Zim is like, we're closed. And he's just, being like, hey, I need to talk. Let me in. And, like, convinces her to let him in. I'm not really sure, like, what door they leave open, but they leave some door open to where, Geisel and Flubbo, like, just walk out of the pet shop and are like...
Can't handle these names. Flubbo.
Sounds like you're saying nonsense.
Katie had a stroke recording this episode.
I want to know who came up with the names, because they're really good.
It really feels like somebody just, like, hit some keys on the keyboard.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So they get on, like, a big wheel, essentially, and, like, scare a lady, just goofy times. And, meanwhile, Curly and Babe, the Babe, have essentially walked into town wearing a bunch of Arizona out stuff and, like, immediately see Dina's dad. And I was like...
I like that they just immediately put on, like, what they assume is fucking local
attire.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, how did they just immediately drive to where the, like, witness protection was? And then they're like, maybe we should ask that guy if he knows who it is. And it's just, like, the fucking guy.
This entire town seems to be only for witness protection people, so it probably isn't hard to fucking find these people.
He's also,
that's
like,
why everything's so generic.
Yeah.
That's right. He's also just, like, the only guy standing on the street. And again, he's wearing, like, a Hawaiian shirt. So they're just like, oh, wait, that's the guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so inside the actual pet shop, they, like, see him standing outside, and then he goes inside. So they're gonna follow. Inside the shop, Mr. Zim tries to freeze Dina's dad, but he jukes him at the last minute, and he accidentally freezes Mrs. Zim, which is not good. And so he tries to run away, but then he ends up getting zapped. Meanwhile, in the back of the shop, Huang has brought Dina the keys to the cages, but she can't fit her hand through there, so she gets Trimble to bend the bars open so she can stick her hand through, and I'm like, I feel like she could have just done that, but it's fine. So, at home, Dina's mom is trying to figure out where she's supposed to put her horse head. She doesn't know. What a conundrum. And she gets a call from the brother where she's essentially like, oh, don't worry, I talked to your dad, and they went in the pet shop, so I'm not worried. But then Geisel and Flubbo run in the front door, and she's like, oh my god, Dina's dog's here, and she's not. Like, I'm scared now. But then Geisel transforms into his alien self, and she faints. Fair. Dina, now that she's gotten free, goes and frees the other kids from the cages. This is where we were talking about the cages are just like the flimsiest piece of shit you've ever seen. And the the mom and the FBI marshal guy arrive at the pet shop, and they see this made me laugh out loud. They see Dina's dad, like, inside the pet shop, and she's like, oh my god, he's been drinking. Open the door! And he goes, okay, and just, like, slams his head
Not even
through the
slams,
glass
just
of the
slowly
door.
pushes it until the glass breaks.
And they show, like, a side view of it when he does it, of his head just fucking popping through it, and it made me laugh so hard. I don't know why.
Seems unsafe.
It was
It's
a good
art.
time. Yeah, literally. So Mr. Zim has brought Mrs. Zim, who is like frozen, into the back of the pet store, and is like, okay, hurry, we've got to like get these kids shipped and get out of here, or whatever. And
These kids are
So-
dumb. Do you know how much I would just fucking love to just be someone's fucking cat and just be able to like lay around for 18 hours a day?
right,
Shit, we're
Dumbass
Fed,
kids all have
fed,
jobs now and
exactly.
shit, and
They weren't very smart.
Idiots.
I will also point out that, like, during this entire thing, like, from the moment they get into the pet shop and realize that they're about to be, like, human trafficked or whatever, they don't, they don't really, like, do anything. Like, they do try and run, but then after that, the rest of the movie of them being, like, caught by these people, they're just, like, standing in a line. And I'm like... do something. What do you mean? They just like lost all. I don't know if it's supposed to be the freeze beam, the eyeball beam, or something, but I'm just like, fucking do something. You're just standing
yeah,
there.
the
I don't
pet's
know.
got it.
So,
Just
your dad is
stand in a
busting his
line.
head through a window to free you, and you're just gonna stand there. Yeah. So, Mr. Zim like brings Mrs. Zim into the back with him and like uses her as like a door block. And he's like, all right, you stupid kids. Meanwhile, Curly and the babe break in through the back and come into the room. And Mr. Zim's like, can I help you with something? And they're like, yeah, we're here for the Italian man out front. And Mr. Zim's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, what? I need you to leave. And they're like, oh, don't you recognize that girl? They recognize Dina. And they're like, oh, we'll just take Dina instead. That we'll take the girl instead. And Mr. Zim's like, no, she's like worth the most. Why don't you take one of the other kids? But then one of the Curly Babe brothers pulls out a switchblade, and he's like, okay, here, just take her. I'm like, you're not a very good alien if you're afraid of like some street guy with like a knife. I don't know. Why don't you use your eye beam again?
I don't want to get stabbed.
I mean, I don't
Alien or
either,
not.
but his eye shoots lasers. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but those lasers don't seem to do a very good job.
That's fair. So they grab Dina, and essentially they're trying to, like, scoot her out the door, but while all of this commotion is happening, they stole the little crystal that... So I guess they were doing something, but I'm just saying, it wasn't very dynamic looking to watch. They have,
The
stolen
full
the
moon
crystal.
motto, not very dynamic to watch. Dynamic looking to watch.
Yeah, so they've stolen the crystal that activates the, like, transporter thing, because also Mr. Zim just, like, left it on the counter, which, okay. And so as the goons are trying to, like, drag Dina out, she drops the crystal directly into, like, the little groove in the ground that gets the teleporter, and Poing and Tremble have, like, acrobat Flying Grayson style, like, flung over to get her, and she grabs on and, like, swings out of the way, which is insane. And so Curly and the babe are transported to space. Meanwhile, the mom, the dad, and the FBI guy have managed to break into the room by, like, slamming their bodies up against the door. And the Zims are basically just like, all right, fuck this, like, we're fucking out, and they get in the transporter and
Over it.
leave. Which is also, like, you left 4, but you only took 2 guys. They're kind of the size of 2 people, though, right?
Yeah.
So, like, maybe
Yeah,
I'll
Cut them in
it's
half,
like-
they'll be fine.
Yeah. It's like
I
two
cut them in
large
half.
guys.
Okay, fair.
I mean, you know, that's like,
So-
I assume...
You can make a bunch of cats out of one of those guys.
That's fair.
I assume, you know, the legs will grow top half and vice versa. It'll be fine.
Yeah, alright, fair. And I want a movie I wanted like a procedural movie about the Zims getting court-martialed for only taking 2 but dropping off 4. So let's see. So because they've transported up or whatever, the entire like facade of their like backroom spaceship situation just like disappears. And so now everybody's just standing in like the regular back room of the pet shop and they're like, "Oh, where are we? Like what is going on here?" Mike and Alexis are just like, "Oh my God, where are the pets? Like what happened?" And there's like a moment where they're like stressed out or whatever, but it's fine. The pets are fine. They come out. They look like normal pets now. And so the kids all take them and they're just like going to go home. Mike asked Dina what she's doing tomorrow and she said, "Wouldn't you like to know?" I was like, "Okay." Why are you acting like you're not friends all of a sudden? And she's like, "I'll call you." And then it said like indistinguishable or something. And I was like, "What?"
Yep. Like most of the fucking dialogue in this movie
Yeah.
I watched this on Prime and like all of the subtitles were like that.
Yeah. I had to watch it on Prime also because the Tubi stream just was not working. So I was like, all right, whatever. But it's, obviously it's available. But yeah, they could not figure out what the mom and dad were saying most of the time. And so they go home. This is when I wrote their house is incredible. Right now, all we're seeing is the front yard, which looks like a corral, essentially. She's got like 2 full-size like horse statues and like wagon wheels as the fence around the house. The house is bright red. It's great. And they're all being like really nonchalant about what just happened to them because like not only did you have mob guys trying to kill you, I guess he doesn't know. I guess the parent... No. I was going to say, the parents, I think, maybe didn't see Curly and Babe, but then they do make a comment about them, so I don't know. Anyways, there was, like, an alien thing that happened, there's alien pets, and then also there was, like, the mob, and they're all just like, all right, well, see you tomorrow, and they just, like, wave and, like, part ways or whatever.
Yeah.
And they get home, and the dad is just like, you know what? I guess I'm a hero for saving the town. And Dina's like, yeah, Dad, all my friends really think that you're a hero. Super great. And he's like, okay, all right. And he's like proud of himself, as he should be. And this is when he's like, he says to the FBI, like, so do we have to move again? Because I feel like they found us really easily. Like, they came right here. They literally made a beeline to Arizona. And the marshal guy is like, no, it'll be fine. I'll just write a letter to the mob boss from them saying everything's fine. And I'm like, isn't he going to notice that they don't come back because they've been abducted by aliens?
Yeah, just write that they fell in love and ran off together.
That's fair. That's fair. Then Dina is like out front with Geisel and is like, oh, I'm so happy that you're still here with me. I don't know what I'm going to do if you get sick again because we don't have any of your vitamins. Then it turns out that their vitamins are just mud. So they're fine. Which is great. Which is
incredible reveal.
Great to know. And then it just ends with a slow pan of we already spoiled this, whatever, but a slow pan of a mural that the mom was painting on the garage, which is the New York coastline with the 2 towers on it. Amazing.
Perfect.
Amazing job. The choice to end the movie on the reveal of the mural, it's really cinema.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that was kind of short, but the movie's only like an hour and a half, so
it's also a full movie, so there's not a whole lot going on.
Yeah.
Not a very in-depth plot.
Yeah. But I don't know. I still thought it was enjoyable. I think obviously I can tell by watching it now that like there's some nostalgia for it, but if you have kids, I feel like this is a good movie to like watch with them.
Yeah.
That's like not super annoying for you as an adult.
Kit.
You get to see Terry Kaiser, they get to see weird little creatures.
Exactly.
Everyone wins.
I need Katie to tell Kit about her revelation about Death Toilet.
I'm so curious.
Okay, so we did a bonus episode, the Amityville bonus episode, where we watched
Frankenstein and Ripper.
Frankenstein and Ripper. And I also watched a third movie, which was Amityville Backpack. That is, like, the Death Toilet guy is, like, the main actor in it, and it's, like, the same team or whatever. And I didn't really know that going in. And my revelation is that I was wrong about Death Toilet, and actually it's amazing.
It's true.
So,
that team has a movie coming out, Kit, called Maximum Stroller Drive, about a killer stroller.
Oh, fuck yeah. Done deal.
I think maybe the issue for me, and so like basically, well, that episode is the bonus episode is only going to be for our Patreon, so you have to be a member to listen to it or whatever. But spoiler alert: the two movies that we picked, one was maybe the worst movie ever.
Yeah, I have a new
Shocking.
Worst movie I've ever seen, and unsurprisingly,
Right.
it's an Amityville movie.
Yeah.
So after watching those two and then watching Backpack, I was like, actually, I think I understand. I think I understand now. So
Welcome.
that movie was so bad, it changed my life. That I now understand Death Toilet. I think that maybe if I had seen some movies before Death Toilet, it would have been different, because more that I'm thinking about it, it was like the toilet part of it that I was like, no, this is just too much. Because watching a inanimate object like a backpack kill somebody was great. So
Well, now you're primed for when Death Toilet Silent But Deadly Night comes out.
Yeah. And I said, I apologize to them.
Yeah, on
I'm so sorry.
Hear, so.
I know. I'm so sorry I doubted you. I'm on board. I would like the backpack, please.
All right, Katie, what'd you watch this week?
Well, I watched those Amityville. Also, I don't know whose cat this is, but there is a cat in the movie whose name is Poopsie, and she's a tortie. she's very cute, and I loved her. So there's just another point for Amityville Backpack. So I watched Amityville Frankenstein, Amityville Ripper, Amityville Backpack. Oh my god, Amityville Poopsie. If Poopsie's in more of the movies, I would also be more inclined to watch. And I'm keeping up with Halloween Baking Championship, and then I started Halloween Wars, which is, the pumpkin version, sort of.
Oh, they just like carve pumpkins or whatever?
Yeah, so they do like sculptures that are like pumpkin cake treats, and then they do like a tasting element. And the thing that they're doing different this year is that they're having people who have won in the past be like the team leaders. So it's like different than just having like a bunch of new people. But anymore, I feel like that and like the baking championship shows, like a lot of the same people just continue to compete on like different, whether it's like holiday, Christmas, spring, or whatever, which I feel like is kind of cheating, but it's neither here nor there. I started watching this show called, I should have looked it up.
That's a weird name for a show.
It's on Hulu, and it's called like Paranormal Crimes. It's called.
I don't know what it's
Out
really
There.
called, but they should call it Paranormal Crime City. That's a show I would watch.
Okay, that does sound.
Someone make it.
So it's
Death
called
Toilet
Out.
Guys.
Yeah, there you go. Out There, Crimes of the Paranormal, which so far I've only watched 2 episodes, but they were crimes that people committed who one of them was into lizard people, like thought lizard people were real, and then the other one was like these people who were like, I don't know if they're part of MUFON, but they're like alien investigation people that then used like radioactive powder to like try and kill these like politicians, essentially. And so far I'm essentially just like, no, these are just people who are like mentally unstable who believe in like a quote unquote paranormal thing that I don't necessarily think is involved. So seems clickbaity obviously so far, but
doesn't sound right
we'll see.
for a Tubi documentary.
No, it's Hulu.
Oh, well, I mean,
Yeah.
same, I assume.
Oh. I do. Yeah, I don't know. You and I kind of talked about this a little bit recently, where like documentaries definitely are not what they used to be. And then last night we watched, because we watched Unbreakable, we watched Split, which I already knew what it was about. I didn't necessarily knew how it was connected to Unbreakable at all, and I had like seen a little bit part of it, but I still really liked it. James McAvoy is literally like stunning to watch in that movie. Um, so yeah, I liked it. So now we'll watch Glass next, and we'll see what we think. But um, pretty good. I think that's it. Oh, and then like 50,000 episodes of fucking Goosebumps. But we'll talk about that later.
What will you watch this week, Kit? Uh-oh, did Kit leave?
Yep. He was like, "Fuck you guys, see ya."
Checks out. All right. I watched 1988's Cellar Dweller, which is has Jeffrey Combs for like 3 minutes in it.
That's all you need.
It was fine.
All right, Kit says I lost all audio.
Right. And then I watched Pinocchio's Revenge, which is terrible.
Oh.
Is
that like
It's this little. Nope, there he's back.
Oh, there yet.
It's
what those. It just audio died, and I was like, And I went to look and see if like my internet dropped or it kicked me out of the call because Skype sucks and does that sometimes. And nope. Still in there. Everyone's still talking. It's just like, oh, you can't hear anything.
There was a day Katie and I went to record, and for like 30 minutes I couldn't figure out why the fuck. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
I don't know if Katie could hear me or like I couldn't hear. I forget what it was, but it just turned out that like Caitlin had left their AirPods out. And so instead of connecting to the headphones plugged in, it connects to the AirPods. I'm like rebooting my computer. I'm fucking redoing Skype, all this shit. And I was like, I finally looked at it and it was like, oh, connected to AirPods. And I was like, God damn it.
It was so funny because it was like in close enough vicinity that you could like kind of hear, but like frustrating, obviously, because technology is a nightmare.
But yeah, Pinocchio's Revenge. Incredible title and premise. For such a fucking boring movie. It's a real bummer. Like, this little girl gets like a Pinocchio puppet that she's talking to and obviously no one else can hear. And then, it just kind of starts killing people towards the end. It's not great. But Fern Troyer plays Pinocchio in it apparently, so.
Oh.
I mean, he's clearly in like the puppet head that like doesn't
like
move,
suit.
So
yeah.
And then I think the only other thing I watched was that Mr. McMahon documentary, and it's fine. They spent way too much time being like, "Oh, you guys aren't prepared for how fucking crazy and dark this is gonna get," and it's like it's.
He was a guy.
I mean, it's like no, like it's. The problem I had is like. I
assume it's all shit that everyone knows about already.
It's shit that, like, if you at all pay attention to just any of that shit, like, outside of getting sort of, like, some wrestlers discussing some of the shit that, like, like John Cena talking about their steroids trial when, like, that was a thing he wasn't, like, around for. Outside of, like, that, it's not super... like nothing new because like that they spent like so much time before it was coming out talking about how like the fucking sexual assault allegations and human trafficking shit about McMahon coming out was while they were filming it, and like the first episode like teases they're like the in the process of this interview like all of the news drops. And, like, they're like, oh, Vince McMahon tried to buy the documentary back from Netflix and they couldn't release it. You're like, oh, shit, here we go. And, like, you go 5.5 of the 6 episodes before they even remotely even like talk about that. So you get maybe 20 minutes out of the 6 hours where they even like mention any of that shit, and you're just like, oh, okay. So the rest of it's literally just like a biography of Vince McMahon starting WWE and shit. And I was like, oh, all right.
I haven't watched it yet, but from what I've seen online, my biggest revelation is that Stone Cold Steve Austin doesn't believe that CTE is real.
It's weird, like the way he phrases it. I can't tell if he's saying he doesn't believe it's real or he doesn't believe the like Chris Benoit thing is a CTE thing. Like both him and
what is CTE?
I forget what it's like stands for, but it's like the multiple concussions thing that
it's like
starts
cerebral traumatic.
Oh. Well, sir.
Encephalitis?
Yeah, it's a thing where it's like the thing that starts
just like severe brain
eating
damage
away at your brain. Because like they talk about it in terms of like the Chris Benoit story, where like Vince McMahon clearly is just like, yeah, I don't think it had anything to do with that. I think he just went nuts and killed his family. And
which of course he would say that.
And then like has a couple other wrestlers kind of talking about like Undertaker. At one point is just like, at first I was like, why are we taking away chair shots? It's like a storytelling thing, blah blah blah. And then he was like, no, actually this is like a fucking good thing. Like maybe we
shocking
shouldn't. Yeah.
better take from the Undertaker.
And then like it cuts to like Stone Cold talking, and it's like it's very weird because it feels like it's one of those ones where like it feels like maybe they cut a 10-minute conversation into one sound clip that like doesn't come off great for him. So I'm not sure. It's weird. Like it's I don't know. I'd say it's like worth watching, especially if you're like unfamiliar with a lot of the stuff, because like I don't know. For me, I'm always like fascinated by like the behind the scenes shit in wrestling. So, like, it's interesting to see some stuff, but it's like, if you've watched any Dark Side of the Ring, or if you listen to, like, the Behind the Bastards episode on Vince McMahon, like, literally nothing in it's going to be new, except for the last 20 minutes, when they get into the last, like, 2 to 3 years.
Year and a half.
Like, because they, like, it's dumb, because it's, like, literally, the last 20 minutes are, like, when the first allegations dropped and he stepped away and then came back and then sold it and like it became that TKO shit, and then he Stephanie quits and then he quit. It's all that shit, and I'm just like, dude, yeah, you really fucking crammed like all of the interesting shit into like 20 minutes of this. So I don't know, it's fine. It was not like, I'm not, like, upset I spent time watching it, because there is interesting shit in it, but, like, it's, again, like, the thing that Katie and I talk about, I think, in one of the bonus episodes, is I was just like, I hate how fucking clickbaity all of these, like, documentaries are becoming now that, like, all of the true crime shit, like, blew up on Netflix, so now all of them are kind of like that, where they're like, oh, man, you're never gonna guess how crazy this shit gets, and then it's, like, nothing.
That too, and the thing is, like, they do it with like older stuff too. Like, just for example, like recently they like came out with like a Lacey Peterson like thing. They were like, "You're never gonna believe this new information that we found." And I watched like the whole thing just to watch it. There was no new information, and I was like, "Huh? What are you talking about?" And it's just like, yeah, I don't know, exactly, clickbait.
I will say, one positive of the Mr. McMahon documentary: no Vince Russo, no Jim Cornette. So,
yeah,
fuck those guys.
Big pluses.
Honestly, the most interesting thing in it is like when they get to, like, you actually get to hear McMahon discuss like the
sex part of his brain.
No, well, that like he seems like a real fucking freak. He does talk about sex quite a bit, but like.
Unsurprising.
Like, I don't know if I'd ever heard him in a documentary discussing the like Monday Night Wars shit, especially when like they're losing. And so I mean, that's like kind of, it was that part I thought was interesting, and then like when they're talking about Attitude Era stuff, and they just kind of go into some of the stuff that like he'd pitch that people were like, "Fuck no!" Like a storyline where he fucking gets his daughter pregnant and shit. And I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Excuse
So
me?
there's like some interesting sort of like new information there, but just overall, I was especially with like how much they were promoting it, like
That's a super crazy.
yeah, as it was
thing.
coming out, where they're like, yeah, you know, he really wanted to buy this, so we wouldn't release it. You're never gonna guess what's in here, and I was like, this is all information everyone knows. They literally blur by the like Jimmy Snuka. Like I don't even think they mentioned that. It seems like
him covering up Jimmy Snuka's
they literally
murdering his wife.
Just kind of like mentioned
girlfriend.
That there was like possibly a murder at some point, and I was like, right, you guys didn't fucking touch on this at all. Like,
yeah,
even Caitlin for like the first 3 episodes was kind of like, this seems like they're like making a documentary about how cool Vince McMahon is. Because like it seems like more than anything, what was happening before those allegations dropped is they were literally just making a history of Vince McMahon and WWE.
Right.
So I don't know. That's kind of how it plays out for like most of it, and I was like, yeah, this kind of sucks.
yeah. I mean, and I understand. Like when I was watching that. What was that? The I like have such poo brain. I can't remember anything. The one Quiet on Set. When I was watching the Quiet on Set one, and I guess like I just felt for that one like if you it's exactly like what you're saying, where it's like if you don't know anything about like whatever the topic is, you're watching it and it's like giving you just like information that is basically has been on the news constantly before it came out. And then I also always just feel that like the people who are making the documentary aren't saying like it's the exact same thing where they're just like they're making a documentary and giving you facts and then not making it clear that like this person is a piece of shit. They're kind of just like, I don't know, here's the stuff that he did, and it's like, okay, well, but like where's the I don't know. I guess that maybe I just like don't really understand a lot about making something where maybe you could be like sued about the information that you're putting out there. Like maybe that's why they're not going into like the murder case part of it.
I think the big problem I had with it is like all of the interviews they did with like wrestlers and like, you know, producers and shit in WWE, except for I think they got like one person back post allegations dropping, was like everything was done, like all of those interviews were done in like 2022. And so like almost everybody is talking about it in terms of like not necessarily like glowing, like, you know, they talk, a lot of them talk pretty openly about like, you know, the stuff that happened during like the steroid trials and all that kind of shit, but like none of the interviews really take place post all of this shit coming out. And but I do also appreciate that they fucking dropped Brock Lesnar's name as part of the fucking like all the shit that came out, because I feel like that kind of gets glossed over a lot in terms of like Vince McMahon being the only one that did it, and it's like, no, he kind of sold this woman out to like Brock Lesnar as part of his fucking contract. But yeah, I don't know. Like overall, it was fun. I would say if you have Netflix, it's worth a watch, especially if you're like relatively unfamiliar with like wrestling stuff. It's pretty interesting, but I don't know if you've paid any attention to like wrestling in the last 20 years at all. You probably know most of these stories. Just go watch Dark Side of the Ring. It's way more interesting.
Yeah.
Have you watched that WCW one they did recently, Kit? That Who Killed?
Oh. No, I don't give a shit about that one because it's. I mean, we've done it 100 times.
I know. I'm just only.
It's like, who killed WCW?
Everybody.
Everyone involved in this talking about it. Saying it wasn't me. It was you.
I only want to watch it because I just want to see like I like every clip I've seen about it is everyone just pointing fingers at everyone else. And
yeah, I want to see what kind of fucking bullshit Kevin Nash comes up with. Be like, oh no, me and the boys were great. We did right by everyone.
Hey, you know what? Kevin Nash is talking about how Logan Paul's a piece of shit, so I'm fucking on board.
Don't get me wrong, I love Kevin Nash, but
All right, Kit, what'd you watch this week?
Nothing.
All right, great.
Ah, shit.
All right, Katie, what do you want to shout out?
Oh my goodness. Why did I not think that was going to be a thing?
Surprise, gotcha.
Every
question.
time. Wow.
Say bananas.
I was gonna say pizza.
There you go.
I mean, pizza's pretty good.
Pizza with bananas on it.
I would try it. I feel like I would try any weird pizza. Like we used to get this like Thai place where I used to live that did banana spring rolls, and it was like literally amazing. So I would try it.
Good.
Yeah.
What about you, Kit?
I'm shifting into playoff baseball mode, so I'm going to shout out whatever team kills the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
Fuck the Astros.
Yeah.
One thing about me is that I will hate any team you want me to hate. So
I appreciate that.
Katie's got no skin in the game whatsoever. So
no, well, especially not for baseball. We went to a local. I don't know all the terms for the like league situations, but we went
like
to
a minor league team.
Yeah, we went to a minor league, and our team is the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimps, which is already very fun. And our mascot is Scampy, and he's a shrimp, and he's very fuzzy, and I love him so much. And so we went to a game recently. We got crushed. However, it was one of the most fun things ever. And so I cannot hate the Shrimps, but I'll hate anybody else except the Jags, who suck a lot, but what can you do?
I always like going to baseball games as a kid, except I feel like everyone we went to would be one of those ones where we'd go to like quadruple overtime or some shit, and I'm like, fuck, let me go home.
Yeah, the great thing about like going as an adult with like other adult people like us, we're just like, all right, bye, and we just like
leave whenever.
Yeah. And I had it. Oh, okay. That's my shout out too, because I had a huge soft pretzel with nacho cheese, and it literally was the best thing I've had all month. And I've been dreaming about it again, but the season's over, so womp womp. Shout out Scampy, I love you.
Scampy, come on the podcast.
Please,
yeah,
Scampy, please.
I started listening to a podcast Jamie Loftus started called 16th Minute of Fame that's all about, like, the weird things and people that go viral online. And, like, a lot of them, she interviews, like, the people that were part of it. Like, the first episode is Antoine Dobson, I think. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't remember Antoine was his right name. And, like, there's an episode on the Boston Slide Cop and shit. Like, there's an episode on that fucking white and gold or black and blue dress.
Yeah.
The 30 to 50 feral hogs person.
Man.
All that kind of, like, I love my curvy wife.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, it's fucking really interesting because it's like all of these fucking insane things that just became sort of like hot for like,
take over Twitter for a
like a week,
day
and
to
then
a
just
week.
like kind of disappeared, and like kind of overall like talks to like a lot of people involved in this stuff, but overall just kind of talks about like how the algorithms somehow made this shit go viral, and I don't know, just kind of stuff like that. It's really interesting and really good. So go listen to that.
Cool.
All right, Kit. Next week, we're having Shane on, so you know it's something good.
Something religious.
Yeah, we're
and
watching
horrible.
Bigfoot Grip of the Monster from Ashley Hayes Wright.
Oh Lord, they made another Bigfoot movie.
Yep,
They
with
sure
an
did.
AI poster that has 6 fingers.
Why? Why do they love the Bigfoot so?
They are currently doing some sort of Kickstarter or Indiegogo or something to fundraise for a sequel to it that has been running for 161 days and has raised $0.
Oh, thank God.
They're at 0% of their $100,000 goal to make another.
We're the only people that have seen any of their movies.
Yeah. This will be Nathan's like 4th or 5th movie, I think.
I'm gonna watch all of them.
I'm your biggest fan. I hate all of your movies.
Yeah. I want to see Monster B in DC so fucking bad, and it's not streaming anywhere.
Halloween Hero. Halloween Hero.
I think Halloween Hero actually was streaming somewhere. Oh, not anymore.
Nope. Just in time for Halloween. Put it behind a paywall.
Halloween Candy Mare. And this part 1 short film. This short film is 10 minutes less than the Bigfoot movie.
Yep. A full-length feature film.
A girl falls asleep and enters into a nightmare. It is fueled by her desire for Halloween and candy.
That's me.
She and her friends and their parents will become superheroes and villains as they fight for reign over all of the candy.
Great.
Terrible. We're a bad family.
Wow.
We're going to talk about another Bigfoot movie, and I assume Grip of the Monster Beans. The husband is addicted to porn and gets jerked off by Bigfoot.
Yeah, definitely.
Ah, fingers crossed.
Been there.
It's that hat that says Bigfoot ate my ass.
Yeah.
That was a movie.
Shit's gonna suck, but at least it's only 68 minutes, so...
That is so funny.
At least it's
Small
not,
mercies.
Yeah, at least it's not 2 hours.
Man, so sorry. I'll miss it.
What if it's good? You don't know. We haven't watched it yet. Yeah. Although I think Shane is actually currently watching it for some reason. Well, Ducks him to confirm.
He just can't contain his excitement.
He said the opening music just sounds like stock "Godspeed You Black Emperor," and I was like, "I'm in. Let's go."
Oh God.
All right. If you'd like to support us, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/IPSufferPodcast. We got a lot of bonus episodes dropping in October. 1 each week.
Yeah.
I think, let's see, by the time...
Should call it Bone-tober.
Yeah.
Because all the bonuses.
Yep.
Okay, I was like, what?
Hey, quit fighting. Don't make me come over there.
Sorry.
I think...
They're fighting over Bone-tober.
At this point, Batman the Doom That Came to Gotham, and then the Amityville episode, which was a fucking mistake, will be out. And then...
Always is.
God,
y'all never learn.
I can't.
No. This is it.
No,
that was it.
Yeah, I told Katie, other than if we do
there's 6 more coming out before the end of the year.
I told Katie
the
only way we'll cover any more is if we do regular episodes on the Death Toilet Dudes, fucking Amityville movies Backpack and Backrooms. Or there's one documentary I think is a documentary that Katie and I have talked about doing solely because the girl from The Locker is in it.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, Amityville Frankenstein, the worst movie I've ever watched, and there's a revelation as we're recording in it that made me so mad.
Yeah, I'm still mad.
I'll tell Kid about when we're done recording because you got signed up for Patreon to get the good stuff.
Yeah.
But also the week this comes out, Katie and I are doing an episode on 3 Goosebumps episodes. And it's not going well from at least me listening to the audiobooks. Yeah, patreon.com/IHopeYouSufferPodcast. You can follow us on Instagram at IHopeYouSufferPodcast. You can follow Kit at Hit Kitstery, Kitrification of Blood. You can follow Katie at WerewolfFace. Join Katie's Patreon at patreon.com/WerewolfFace. You can listen to my other podcast, 8K Movie Club. All right. We're getting jerked off by Bigfoot next week.
Hell yeah.
Getting
you don't want to miss it.
The grip of that monster. All right. No one else watch this movie because don't give them the 8 cents they probably make from Tubi.
He means Bigfoot. Go watch Pet Shop.
Yeah, go watch Suburban Sasquatch, where somebody sort of gets a hand job from Bigfoot, but a little too rough and he gets ripped off.
Oh, hate to see it.
Spoilers. All right. I hope you get your own little Flubbo or whatever the fuck these creatures were called.
Flubbo.
Pet
Old
Shop,
Blorpsy.
Pet Shop 2, The Return of Flubbo. Coming soon.